7 days of rest and sacred renewal. The 5th annual global event for the healing and thriving of Earth and all her inhabitants. During the first 7 days of the new year, we unite around the world to renew ourselves and our sacred bonds with each other and with all of life, with uncompromising commitment to living the truth of who we are. We rebirth ourselves, individually and collectively, as wise and loving stewards of creation. Together, we lay the foundations and prepare for a new era of love and wisdom in action.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Gary Malkin of wisdomoftheworld.com with a beautiful opportunity to share with you Teresa Collins of the Global Coherence Pulse. And we'll have the opportunity to introduce Shelley, who's also with us more substantially later. But welcome, Shelley Ostroff, the initiator of the 7 days of rest. And as a way to all model how we can drop in to the essential gifts that come from rest. Let's all experience this transformance, featuring Sarah McCrum and myself as a extemporaneous transmission. And I want to invite people to really gauge your capacity to have the optimal rest experience. So please be mindful of whether you'd be best served to just close your eyes and rest. Many people say that linear discriminative information comes through the optic nerve, and we need to rest our eyes. But for those of you who really do love the bonding experience with Gaia and the gorgeousness that happens as it integrates in a multidimensional sensory way, then let the images support you for that. But if you feel intuitively like just resting your eyes, then give yourself by all means, the opportunity to do that. And we're just going to start with that right now as a perfect way to begin our experience today as we initiate the overview and the kickoff to the 7 days of rest experience for these next 8 days.
Listen. Listen to the sound of your own heart. To the sound of your inner presence. Listen. Come into yourself and listen deeply. Where are you now? Listen to yourself. Can you hear Can you hear that small voice? Can you hear the sweetness of your own soul as it sings its music? Playing through your heart and through all your being. This is you. This is you meeting you. So listen. This is you.
And now I can say this is us. Thank you all for bringing yourself to this so beautifully. Before we share a little bit about what this is all about, I want to read this quote I found this morning. There is no agent so powerful in giving us real rest as true music. It does for the heart and mind and also for the body what sleep does for the body alone. So in the spirit of that quote, I am so thrilled to share with you, Teresa, and to accept this extraordinary invitation of the 7 days of rest. And also, so just a couple of ground rules, not ground rules, new ways of holding this experience. I just want to acknowledge my collaborator and dear friend, Sarah McCrum, who was just featured on that recording, who helped me push past my resistance to allowing online to be a place where we can have shared listening as a way to enhance our coherence in the field. So as you listen together with us, it's as if we're around a fire. And the field of intention and attention grows into multidimensional and multisensory ways in the field itself. So as you're listening, start to ask who's listening, and to be in a meta awareness of listening itself as a cleansing tool to align to the deep vibrational commitment to rest that this whole event is all about. There's something when listening to music that was generated with an intention to drop you into your heart and soul. There's something that happens naturally, that we are willing to align to, that happens even beyond our intention. So I just want to honor that as a way to hold the listening in this experience, and just welcome each of you to presence yourself as we share this hour and 15 minutes together.
Beautiful, Gary. I'm so grateful that we get to do this as we start the new year. I'm going to add the spotlight. And I just am noticing where people are coming from all around the world. We had Germany and Netherlands and all over the United States and Chile, and just feeling us all making a commitment to be in rest and sacred renewal for this first 7 days of the new year. I feel so grateful that Shelley and Jan and the team kind of claimed this, because I'm going to take that seriously and starting right now. And know that as we're moving through the 75 minutes and throughout the days, that what we feed the field matters. And as collectively, if we feed the field with our love and our presence and our true rest and relaxation, our renewal, that a commitment to ourselves, that we're feeding the field with exactly what it needs most right now. So Shelley, thank you for that. And Gary, it's always such a pleasure to, co-create with you. And I'm looking forward to all of the beautiful rest and listening that we get to do together. And thank you all for taking time out of your day to be with us right now. Yeah. Blessings. Shelley, I don't know if you want to just say something.
Just feeling immense gratitude to be in this space that is so vibrationally aligned with everything that I have envisioned, and to feel it co-created in this loving way with all of the beautiful people that are here, recognizing the importance of heartful rest and recalibration, so that we can really begin to heal from de-stressing and denoising and coming into the way in which nature can be when she is at rest. So thank you for this exquisite opening to the 7 days as a seeding of it. I couldn't have asked for anything more.
I want to share a little personally about how this occurred to me. I had the great opportunity to have Julie Krull of All Things Connected and Good of the Whole introduce me to Shelley. She said, "Well, you know Shelley and Jan, right?" I went, "No, Shelley and Jan who?" She went, "Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll do something about that." And she sent a mutual introduction. And when I had my first opportunity to meet Shelley and Jan, something happened to me that never happened before, where I started to hear about what these two extraordinary eco-visionaries are doing. And I overwhelmed with tears by the commitment that they've made to redesign a thriving world for all. And I just was overwhelmed, and I just sobbed at the opportunity to be in the presence of these two extraordinary people. Of course, recognizing that I've met myself in a way that I couldn't see by seeing you, and in that moment of the tears, I went, this is the heart of what I've spent my last 20 years on, around the wounded healer needs to heal himself to create the music that will come to me, through me, for me, so that I can serve at a higher, more coherent level. And this rest is the first time I've ever initiated an experience like this, where I boldly said, what if we listen together? And what does that do? It changes me when I am listening and then aware of the listening as a tool for coherence. So I just want to thank you, Shelley, and Jan Golding and Shelley, for the same thing that Teresa said, but just for me to find a home that I didn't know I didn't claim, that was the home of my purpose with the music itself. And so when Teresa said, well, are you inviting other musical artists? I went, oh my God, no, what, why? How could I do that? It was so self-centered. But I realized that this is the capstone of a 30-year commitment that I didn't understand had its home in devising ways for us to come home to ourselves in sacred renewal, because it was what I needed most. And because of the, chicken with its head cut off, overcommitted personality that Gary Malkin happens to be. So I just want to thank you for giving me a home and a place to share with a sense of everything has now a purpose that I didn't even understand. And I just want to thank you because it all comes together under one umbrella for the first time in my life. So and I've even, when you said that, Teresa, I called Elijah Ray right away and said, could you join us on the final day? And it was, it would be a god awful hour for him in Hawaii. And I said, well, maybe next time. But, so forgive the indulgence that all the music you'll be hearing is mine this next 8 days. But it's because it isn't mine. It's to me, through me, for me, and for us. So please receive it as a catalyst for all the great gifts that can come from rest.
Gary, we're so honored that we get to spend 8 days listening to the glorious resonance that your music actually provides. We are going to rest in resonance altogether.
Mm.
And to recognize that many years ago, I came across your CD, Graceful Passages, and it moved me to the depth of my soul. And I shared it with many people. And at this moment of sacred renewal, as we bid farewell to so much and bring in something that is so radically new, the music that you have been cultivating over all of these years, which really works with this sensitivity and grace of these passages. This is orchestrated by something so divine that this passage can be accompanied by your music.
You're muted, Gary.
Yeah, no, I know. Fabulous. Well, that's a perfect, wonderful segue. So first, yesterday, the epiphany that hit me was, if tomorrow is the rebirthing day, which our beautiful guest, Lisa Rafael, who's on our call today, how can we rebirth if we don't honor the grief and the death cycle? And what we're about to experience is the track called Walk On, featuring the wonderful wisdom keeper, Jyoti. She goes by the name Jyoti Ma, a beloved wisdom keeper as a friend of the Unity Earth family. And Doris Lasser Stillwater and Michael Stillwater created an opportunity to record Jyoti. And what we did way back 23 years ago was started to record voices from wisdom keepers in response to, if you were talking to the beloved or to your beloved, or what would you say to calm the mind and the heart and the soul when facing the reality of our impermanence, that we will disappear one day. And remarkably, Jyoti came up with this, I'm told, very spontaneously. And it was one of the earliest tracks we did when we started the project called Graceful Passages. So I just want to acknowledge Doris and Michael Stillwater for really initiating the recordings of these wisdom keepers that inspired the beginnings of this project. And I again want to encourage you, we're going to listen and look. Look if you want to and feel called to, but don't feel compelled to look. Allow yourself to let the listening muscle, which is like a sixth sense muscle, it cultivates the art of feeling resonance in the vibratory field, and let yourself dance between looking and hearing or just listening alone. And so as we listen to this track from Graceful Passages, we're holding space for the grief and the losses and the extraordinary unprocessed grief that is surrounding our field and our, as Barbara Marx Hubbard would call, our noosphere, that's infused in our daily lives. And we can't honor the rebirth without honoring the cycle of the death and grief aspect of the circle of life. Anything before we play this, or should we just go for it? Oh, you're
Let's go for it.
okay, here we go.
Yeah.
This is Walk On, the wisdom film, and it's on Islands of Inner Peace and Gaia TV. But right now, let's just go for the experience.
Good morning, Grandfather. I entered this life a ways back and put skin on to walk two-legged on this creation. And what a glorious time it was. It taught me about breath and about sensing and feeling and caring through my heart. And I walked on around that red road, looking and trying to understand more about the mystery and the secrets she holds. And you spoke to me through the wind. And you sang to me through the birds. And you brought challenges forth so that I might listen to the message you bring me more sincerely. And I kept walking down this road. And I came round the bend at the middle of that curve in the road, and I began to find a secret in the spirit of myself. And still I walked on. Sometimes blind and deaf, and sometimes with pain. But I fought with my fears, and I embraced my unknowingness, and still I walked on. And as the door of the great spirit world came closer, my fear loomed up inside sometimes, but something called me forth. The morning star rose with each day. And my prayer became a centering. And still I walked on. Until I began to hear the song of the mother. And her arms embraced me so. That instead of walking, she carried me right to the door. And as the door opened, I heard her song. And her song lifted me up. So I could soar.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Teresa.
I don't know, I'm so kind of choked up. I can feel this just kind of teariness in my being. And Gary, these graceful passages are so beautiful. They're just so exquisite. And I've told you before that we had, when my father passed away, we played graceful passages every day for the 4 days that he was, and it was glorious. And this is my mom's favorite. So just sending a little blessing out to my mom. And maybe we can just sit in silence just for a minute, just to take it in. I know I need that right now. Just really let this year, all that we've been through, just let it begin to fall away into a deep state of rest. And just really, really, really begin to let ourselves relax. And Shelley, we're so grateful to have you on this opening event today. And thank you so much to you and Jan for initiating this 7 days of rest and sacred renewal. And I believe this is the 5th year that this has been happening. And I wonder if you can share something about just what inspired this 7 days of rest and sacred renewal, and kind of what's behind it. What's the deeper intention?
Thank you. I also want to just acknowledge Diotima and to share that we are blessed. The field of 7 days and sacred renewal is blessed by many gifts of Diotima, who has invited the grandmothers from the Mother Earth delegation to hold a ceremony the whole week and offer wisdom offerings, and she herself will be offering her own wisdom. And so just such deep gratitude for her capacity to hold the whole with such absolute healing grace and wisdom, and offer that forth in a way that can really take us through the grief into a sense of letting go and walking forward into the unknown. And so thank you to Diotima and to Gary for bringing this in here. So the 7 days of rest. Just sharing a little bit that originally the vision for the 7 days of rest came in 2017. And what I understood, it was in very deep meditation that Mother Earth was asking for 7 days of rest. And it was very clear that what was needed was a space where people around the world were holding sacred ceremony and working to bring this vibration of rest into the field. I was seeing people around the world holding ceremony, holding sacred space in many diverse ways, and working to denoise our world, and like a moratorium on all of the busyness, and sensing into the potential, the immense potential for healing that comes from that place of rest, a place where nature knows how to reorganize herself, a place where everything can begin to find its right relationship. And I had very little understanding of how this wanted to happen, but went along with the vision, and also reached out to Jan Golding, who is now a partner, and he joined forces in creating the first 7 days of rest, which happened in January. And it became clear that it needed to happen at the beginning of the year. There was something very significant about how we hold that seeding of the new, and shifting from the busyness of the way in which we tend to celebrate New Year to something which really seeds it with a sacredness and with that inspiration and intention of healing, of renewal, of recalibration, and of the thriving world for all of life that we want to see. Because my own path has been very much a path of exploring how do we activate, how do we support radical exponential whole system healing for the planet and all its inhabitants. And one of the spaces that we cultivate is also the space of consciousness and coherence. And so to join with you, Teresa and Gary, who are holding this space so well, is a blessing. So the first event, it was also clear that it was an event which was self-organizing, that there was no centralized structure other than a code that was offered to the field. And that code of integrity could then inspire people around the world to express that code in whichever way they felt right for them, which is the way that nature works. It works with codes, and then life in our beautiful, diverse ecosystem expresses that code in infinite different ways. And so this way of organizing, which enables everybody to participate and to offer their gifts and to receive the gifts of the other, became the way in which we have since organized the 7 days of rest. And there's such beauty in it, as we can feel in this moment, where we can sense into the inspiration in the field of people connecting to the essence. This year is dedicated to 7 days of rest and sacred renewal. But over the years, each year has had a very specific theme that has come through in deep meditation. And that overarching theme has also had 7 sub-themes for each day, which take us through a journey, so that it's not a day dedicated to, but it's really a spiral of 7 days which has its own coherence that takes us and allows us to experience it through the different chakras, through the different days, through the different themes. And so the 7 days of rest has become this annual event. After the first event, the first message I received was that this was to happen for at least 7 years. And now, looking back, Jan and I can really see the coherence of the themes and how they build on each other. So the second year was a year which was dedicated to 7 days of rest and reflection. And it became clear that in order to continue the healing process from that recalibration and that pure rest, it was about reestablishing sacred relationship with the foundations of life. And every day was dedicated to a different foundation of life, earth and water and fire and air and climate and biodiversity and the web of life. And these 7 foundations of life have accompanied us ever since as an essential part of the inspiration. And then we did 7 days of rest and radiant diversity. And this year, 2021, we had a year dedicated to 7 days of rest and radical healing, where we put water at the center also, because we are also co-stewarding an initiative for a global world water law that prioritizes the healing of our planetary waters as the primary medicine of our time. And this year, the theme of sacred renewal became quite clear. And just to say that the theme of sacred renewal feels deeply resonant with everything that we're going through collectively, that many people and seers are talking about this time as the pinnacle of an era and the shifting of consciousness at this moment to a life that is very, very different from what we've experienced thus far, and a way of being. And that what we're experiencing is the shedding of the old order and a real stepping into the unknowingness, but the understanding that we are part of this vast regenerative force of life that is coming through us and with us in a whole new way. And what came to me was, how do we honor this this space of rebirth and renewal and this regenerative force while honoring what has been? And as I meditated with the 7 days, with the essence of rest and sacred renewal, the sub-themes that came felt so beautifully resonant to be able to spend time with them over these 7 days. And I'll just share them with you here so that we can begin to feel into what the essence of sacred renewal has already offered into the field. And so the first day, the theme is rebirthing. The second day is nourishing. The third day is cultivating. The fourth day is communing. And the fifth day is sharing. The sixth day is valuing. And the seventh day is celebrating. And for the last 10 weeks, we've been meditating daily with in spirals with each of these themes, and really looking also at nature and at the 7 foundations of life, at what they can reveal to us about each of these essences. And the journey has been profound. Layers and layers and layers of wisdom have just poured through as we just spend time meeting and greeting and honoring these essences. So I just invite everybody here to consider taking this time, enjoying the extraordinary offerings that have come forth from around the world, because the field is one that is steeped in generosity. And I think what we can understand from the space of generosity is that when there's a field that honors life with a coherence and an intentionality for the healing and health and vitality of the whole, and each one is able to bring their unique gifts to the whole, then we have abundance for all, more than we need. So much richness, you almost don't know what to do with it. So there is exquisite richness in the field, and it allows everybody to organize their 7 days to choose and pick to see what feels most right for them. So it really gives that unique experience together with the collective experience of being with this, with a global community, and yet in our unique, diverse ways, honoring that we are all different. So just a huge gratitude to all of those who have gifted so much with so much love and wisdom and beauty to the field, and to all those who are participating and will be holding space as participants, enjoying and nourishing the field just through your own rest and the sacred space that you all create.
So beautiful. I put the link in the chat. If you haven't gone to the website for the 7 days of rest and sacred renewal, please go there. There is a huge calendar of events every single day. As Shelley said, people all around the world have said, yes, we really, really need to put our energy into this. And I'll just say, there's one thing to have an intention. And so we can intend to have this, dedicate this 7 days to rest and sacred renewal, but the universe responds to an intention and unconflicted behavior. When those two are lined up, that's when the universe moves beautifully and gracefully and powerfully through us. So let's just not say that we're going to spend this 7 days in sacred rest and renewal, but let's really commit to it every day. Do something for yourself that begins to support these deeper intentions to come in. And I see Gary, I'm going to add him in here too. And I maybe we can just take a minute. I know Jan is listening to us right now. He's manning the Facebook and putting some links in the chat for us. But I would just like to ask everybody that's on the line right now, kind of put your hands together, build up some warmth and energy. And I would like us all to send a wave of love and gratitude and grace to Shelley and Jan, because it's a big deal to invite a global initiative to happen. And this is the beginning for them of this session. So I just want to ask us all right now, just to really feel the gratitude in our hearts and just send it their way, that these next 8 days for them and for all involved moves gracefully and effortlessly so that they can be in rest in sacred renewal. Thank you so much. And let's take our hands now and place it on our own sweetheart. And send that same wave of love and gratitude to yourself for showing up. May this week bring you so much. Rest and rejuvenation.
I'm seeing all these souls healing, all these souls all over the world, hungry for the rest and aware of their hunger for the rest in more ways than has ever been. And that, yearning that Rumi talks about is the point of it all. The longing is the objective, not the thing we're longing for. And I feel the longing in the field is so present. And just, Shelley, would love you to just, even if it's just a minute or two, because that's what we have left in this particular section, and just I'd love you to just bring in, I'm using this music from Graceful, the Be Here Now music, for you to just do a short guided meditation or just an invocation or a prayer, whatever feels right to you as you complete this particular section in our day.
So from this space of deep gratitude and the recognition of rest with all its medicine, the medicine of renewal, we invite the essence of sacred renewal to reveal herself to us. And show the way forward as we surrender all concepts, all notions, all habits, and allow that regenerative force of love and life to lead the way, as is encoded in that nature's consciousness, that nature's code of renewal that resides in each and every one of us as we realign with the primary codes of life. And we bless and bring in the most thriving future into the here and now. And allowing that to be the compass for our instincts, our intuition, our imagination. As we reorient and remember who we are in our wholeness and our uniqueness. Here and now. And I invite everybody to silently offer their own blessing to the field for yourselves and for all of life, so that we create the field here already of this collective intentionality and consciousness and caring for all of life and for future generations. Thank you.
Bless you, Shelley. Bless you, Jan, your whole team. Thank you.
Wow. Wow, that was so beautiful. That was so beautiful. Thank you, Shelley. It was beyond my dream. Thank you. Just so you know, for those of you who are planning your days, we're roughly going to stick by the 75 to 80 minute thing with some, kind of after party energy after we go Facebook off, but we do have some more content I want to share. And as we exercise our listening muscles, and again, I just want to say, if we use our minds to try to sort through the overwhelm, the divisiveness, the distractedness, the exponential moving parts that are foiled to make our brains go tilt, we will go tilt. But if we allow this listening yoga to strengthen our capacity to identify from an embodied sense ourselves as vibrational beings, then we tune our tuning fork to be able to sense what we resonate with. And what we resonate with, like that book, The Body Keeps Score, knows the score, we resonate only to the things that our authentic soul resonates to. It's a perfect screening system for authentic vibrational resonance, right? So when we allow ourselves to know how to feel our vibrational core, and then this is what listening does. This is what listening does. So in the spirit of that, one of the important things I wanted to do is dedicate this next recording that Michael Stillwater and I co-created, that honors the caregiver, right? But when I realized on our Unity Earth call yesterday, that if we're on this call today, we are all self-identified as eco caregivers. We are eco visionaries together, joining together, and we're all working for the same boss, as the phrase goes. So in the spirit of that, in this Puritan culture we're so focused on giving, that our muscle for receiving is really, really, really in need of attention. So I want to honor the loss of this moral center of planet Earth that we lost a few days ago, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who I had the great honor and privilege of being friends with during the global healing conferences we did in Bali many years ago. But I want, in honor of Desmond, who you'll hear his voice, who I interviewed for this recording, I want you to practice the muscle of receiving as if, and I even want to encourage you to put your one hand on one shoulder and the other hand on the other shoulder as you listen to this, and literally imagine every person that you helped, supported, every project that you brought your love and attention to. Imagine each one of those beings that were a part of those things were lending their arms, their hands onto this hug you were giving yourself. Imagine them all lending their hand in acknowledging you for being who you are and who we need to be now. And this recording is, again, it's set to images. It's not intentionally set to images. The images are placeholders. I really want to invite you to close your eyes and let yourself imagine all the people that have appreciated you. And we're going to, Kaylin, if you could play this track, and in honor of Archbishop, in honor of the 7 days of rest, in honor of you, Shelley and Jan, in honor of you, Teresa, in honor of all of us, the calling that we have to being of service to the world we know is possible when love is at the core of it all. Thanks, Kaylin, for this next recording.
You are precious, with a preciousness that cannot be computed. Nothing, absolutely nothing, can separate you from the source of all life. Nothing, not disease, not suffering, not even death.
Remember what brought you here in the first place. You were born to uplift and help others in their time of need. What you do and think and feel matters more than you'll ever know.
Have mercy. Please be kind to yourself. We are, after all, just human. That's good enough.
What's needed is your presence, your love, your caring, all these things that you might think are not enough are exactly what is needed.
Do all the good that you can, in all the ways that you can, to all the people that you can, for as long as ever you can.
My wish for you is that you'll take the time to get in touch with and to remember your own good heart.
Go forth, sustained by the knowledge that you are precious, you are embraced, able to go forth with a courage that is not your own, because its source is the source of all that is beautiful, that is good, that is true.
Isn't that so special to hear Desmond Tutu speak? And I put in the chat also that is also featuring the voice. But before I say it, though, I just wanted a kind of a primer. In this next 8 days, I want us to cultivate the understanding that when a piece ends, there's that moment where the ocean is fading away from the shore, and the musical infused experience is like, it's like the representative of the field, and it's interfacing with 3D reality, and then it fades back. So how we honor that fading back into interaction with 3D is how we do life, is how we accept death. It's such a beautiful microcosm of the life and death experience, and music has that role where when we go there, so when in the next 8 days, when we listen, pay particular attention to what and who is watching, experiencing, and expanding as the music fades away and it goes into that silence. That silence. It's so special.
Yeah. Let's spend some time in that too, Gary, over the next, 8 days as you complete a piece of music. We can just allow a little spaciousness just to be present as we bring ourselves back. Into a different kind of listening.
Yeah, I encourage you to remind me this because the reason I create this idea of rest and resonance is because my mind jumps in quick, right? So I encourage you to mentor me into walking my talk, in that beautiful way.
I will. Yeah. I know I've had tears in my eyes this whole time. I've been just kind of wiping them up. Just that sense, I think, as our bodies begin to really get that we're going to rest, we're going to relax, we're going to renew ourselves. I can feel that in my own body. I don't know about you all out there around the world, but if we're starting to feel that kind of shift from where there's an inner clenching to just a sense of just letting the clenching relax.
Yeah. I want to play one more piece and I want to contextualize it, but I'd love just to hear anything, Shelley, just anything at all.
Yeah, just I think what you're both saying, that way in which we are habituated to be in that clenched state. And in my experience, and I'm still a novice at this, in really embracing the deep rest on the somatic level of the body. And there's so much somatic wisdom like Continuum and others that take us into the fluids of the body, that know how to heal when they are in a state of rest and to renew. And when we are clenching, when we are in alertness, there is something that constricts and obstructs the capacity, the wisdom of Mother Earth and our bodies and the waters to really be able to renew. And so as we go deeper and deeper and deeper into that spaciousness, it's actually surprising that things happen faster and easier. And that's the magic of it. It's so paradoxical. It's an unlearning and a relearning of how to, this is what the masters of dance and martial arts know, and yet our culture has been so habituated differently. So the spaciousness that you're offering, and particularly the word listen, to me that word says everything. It's like listening with every fiber of our being. And when we have to listen with every fiber of our being, when we give ourselves the opportunity, we go into a different state of consciousness that allows a whole new experience of reality. And it takes a while to get used to it. And what I think was so beautiful about the music that you're offering is that it comforts us into relinquishing the control. There's a sense of comfort of your music that allows us to do that. It gently takes us there, because there is a kind of a resistance of the void and yet your music just nudges us more and more into the breathfulness of that space. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no, and this is why I've been feeling more and more like music has a destiny to fulfill in the evolutionary journey of humanity and life. It's humanity mostly in coming into alignment with Earth pace, with Gaia's vibrational field. And I really do feel like, when I was I was at Rancho La Puerta with my daughter last week, and this phrase came in: "Welcome to the listening revolution." Welcome to the listening revolution, the listening itself. And this wonderful quote by Hazrat Inayat Khan: "Sound is the force of creation, the true whole. Music then becomes the voice of the great cosmic oneness, and therefore the optimal way to reach this final state of healing." Hazrat Inayat Khan. So I know people didn't know that we were going to go to the 15 minutes after, and we're going to have a little bit of a, after party off the Facebook Live. But before we do, I really felt like I would be remiss if I didn't honor this at the most intimate level. For those of you like me who have been alone without a love partner, I've like most people, as a child of the 50s, I've idolized a certain way that would look, and in the last 9 years, I've been not attached to anyone, right? And it's really been about shedding the belief that something's wrong if that's not the case. And what I realized was the only way I would really open my wholehearted willingness to be intimate was with another. And so that ability to let rest and sacred renewal heal our own good, intimate capacity to love ourselves in the way that we love another, in the way that we're loved by another. So unexpectedly last night, I went, my God, dare I play something that some people might even think sentimental? But I love what Brene Brown talked about when she talked about our vulnerability and wholeheartedness, and that, the route to our authentic innocence. And so as we hear this last piece, it's really in dedication to all of us, with or without a partner, who have the desire to melt the way the culture has viewed romantic love as the only way it would happen. And God bless it if you're blessed to have a partner that you can fall in love each day in a new way. God bless if you have that. But for those of us who don't, it has to start inside my own good heart, right? So there's this track that I didn't think I was going to play literally until late last night, and it's called What Matters Most, the music by Dave Grusin, one of my favorite composers, and Marilyn and Alan Bergman, the lyrics. And it's, let yourself in this one be your own intimate partner, because the source of this love, what matters most, the last line is, what matters most is that we've loved at all, right? The source of coherence is our capacity to love at the most intimate of levels, right? So music being that tool that can awaken that, I want to do that, and then we'll do some closing comments, and then we'll just have a little bit of share as the green room unfolds. But this is What Matters Most. And Kaylin, would you play it for us? I think you have it, and we can put some images on at the same time and just enjoy it. It's a very short song, but it's Deborah Winters singing. I produced and arranged it about 10 years ago with that wonderful singer. She'll be thrilled to know that we're utilizing her for this purpose. And What Matters Most.
Thank you, Gary.
It's not how long we held each other's hand. What matters is how well we loved each other. It's not how far we traveled on our way, but what we found to say. It's not the springs we've seen, but all the shades of green. It's not how long I held you in my arms. What matters is how sweet the years together. It's not how many summertimes we had to give to fall, the early morning smiles we tearfully recall. What matters most is that we loved at all. It's not how many summer times we had to give to fall. The early morning smiles we tearfully recall. What matters most is that we loved at all. What matters most is that we loved at all.
Mm.
How'd I do, Teresa?
You did so good.
Holding back. It's good.
I'm really loving all of the comments in the chat too. You can just feel everyone's heart today. I feel held in this glorious field of love and community. So beautiful. Yeah.
I was just, chills were going down as I started to feel like this is what I'm here for.
Yes.
That's what I said, Shelley, that I knew this would be a home. So I just so love the company I'm keeping. And I just want to, I'm going to pass the baton around what's coming up before we end the Facebook Live. I'd love you, Teresa, to share that. But I want to also acknowledge Kaylin Holmes, who's doing our technical support, with Ian Downey as helping us with the planning of all this. And just really if this is the way this is going to go, I am just, I'm so happy that we have the opportunity to be in this context together for the next 8 days. And Shelley and Jan, I love you guys so much. Thank you for the vision to come back to the simplest of concepts that we all take for granted so much. So that is so profound because of how rare we create space for this.
Beautiful. I'll just share a couple of quick things before it looks like, yeah.
God, some of these quotes, there's lovely things in the chat. Isn't it nice?
I know, it's so beautiful. You can feel everybody. So I really want to encourage everyone. I put a link in the chat to the 7 days of rest and sacred renewal. There are so many beautiful offerings. So anytime during the days, over these 7 days and 8 days, you can dip in and find all sorts of inspiration. So please check out the website and join in and add your energy. I think there's also an opportunity to donate to the work that Jan and Shelley are doing. So if you feel inspired by what's being offered, I think the more that we can all give a little bit, that these kind of activities can happen more and more. I'm also really honored to say that Shelley is going to join us for the first Global Coherence Pulse in 2022, and we'll be able to reflect on our experience of these 8 days of rest and sacred renewal and continue that. We've actually set that for the theme for the Islands of Coherence for the entire month. And I think we're all going to find renewed energy. And as you said, more can happen more easily when we're open and we're rest and relaxed. And I also just want to, again, remind you that the music that you heard today, that you could go to wisdomoftheworld.com And so much of what you heard today is available there. So over these next 8 days, if there's something that just really inspires you and you want to hear it again, that's where you can go. This is Gary's beautiful website, and it's also just a treasure of all sorts of things. And lastly, tomorrow we'll be joining again, same time, 10 a.m. Pacific time, and we'll begin the first theme of the 7 days rebirthing with Lisa Raphael, and she's actually here with us.
She is with us, in fact.
She is with us. So if she wants to undo her camera, maybe we can just bring her on as well. I'll wait and see if she does. There we are. Hi, I'm just going to spotlight you, add you to the spotlight.
Hello,
it's lovely
Lisa.
that you've been with us, and we're so looking forward to tomorrow.
Thank you. It's been a wonderful experience being with you all, and Gary, just of course being in your music and in the field of what you've created, Shelley, and all of you together are quite a wonderful combination here. Really, really wonderful.
I'm so excited to have you tomorrow as our initiator of the Rebirthing Day.
Me too.
And it's going to be very exciting to hear and feel the resonance of the truth of birth and rebirth, both on the microcosm and the macrocosm, and how it works on every scale when we honor that part of the life cycle. So excited to have you tomorrow, Lisa.
Thank you. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Rebirth, just for a moment, rebirth is not just how we perceive of rebirth. It's also how we feel it. It's how we experience the moment when something new comes in and we are able to let go and embrace that which is coming. And so I feel like you've created an event that's not just rest and renewal. Certainly, my work with babies and renewal and all of that is a part of this, but I feel like you're in rebirth over and over and over again with everything you're doing, in particular, Shelley and Jan. I'm so drawn to your visions, and I so appreciate what you're creating.
Thanks, Lise. See you tomorrow, darling.
See you tomorrow.
So hand it off to you, Teresa, if there's any closing, or are we completing? And I think I just want to say, please join us for the hour at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time every morning for the next 7 days till the 7th of January. We have some extraordinary guests, some that you might not have heard of, that I'm thrilled that are very dear to me, and it's created me an opportunity for me to introduce them to this world. And
I just want to say I am so grateful for this journey that we're going to take, and I can feel like how deep we went today, that this is just the beginning. So grateful. Yeah,
I couldn't be happier, and I think I'll just let it be at that. Thank you, Shelley and Jan, for the partnership and for coming out from behind the curtain, my dear, and being the space holder for this event and introducing yourself. And thank you, both of you, for the vision.
Absolutely magnificent. Just,
thank you.
Your ability to weave the music in and to introduce it with such specificity, like such a, you really help us to open to the music. And it's such an art with so much heart. It really is transformative, and what a gift, because it's not just any music that has the power to heal. It's music that resonates on that opportunity, just to say, I am so full of gratitude. I really did this. Surprised myself by saying yes to do this, because it's so important for me the day before to just hold space for the emergent issues that are the urgent, and yet this felt so important. And I can't believe the gift that you've given to the space, both of you, all of you. Just starting this way is a whole different experience. a whole different experience.
Yeah. What a perfect way to all just take a breath together. And to feel the great fullness in our hearts right now, as Brother David talks about, that great fullness that fills us up so fully that it overflows with gratitude to the point where we want to bless everything and everyone with this love and this awareness. May all the events that are unfolding in honor of the 7 days of rest and sacred renewal find a deep connection to the field in a way that patches together the tapestry of our love as a unified field that we know it is. Feel free, anybody on this call, to end as well, but I just want to close today with that powerful gratefulness that we all have the opportunity to feel every moment. Anyone else wishes to share as a closing prayer, this is the moment.
As you walk out in your day, just pulse this gratitude, this love, this feeling that you're having, this sense of rest that you're beginning to experience into the field around you, and know that everyone that comes in contact with you and all of life will benefit from you radiating this love.
Hasta la vista, baby. Que le vaya. Vaya con Dios. Bye, everybody.
Blessings, everyone.